everybody. Welcome to Our Missionary Life.
Our Missionary Life.
Our Missionary Life. So we have a special guest today that I'm very excited about. I've been trying to book her for years. She's very elusive. She doesn't do a lot of public appearances. She doesn't want to be here at all. But I had to prove that I have a wife. So here she is. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Jacelyn. I'm the mom in the family, and we're going to start doing a few more videos, so I am going to join in. I would much prefer to write a blog or something. Didn't really want to get my face on the screen, but I decided to just dive in and do some of these. It'll probably get easier as we go along.
It will. It'll get much easier. So I'm just going to ask her questions about what's going on, and she's going to answer them in the way only she could. All right, so Jacelyn, yeah, what are your first steps in trying to get overseas?
Interesting. Yes, a lot of people have been interested in that kind. As most of you who are watching probably know, I'm a doctor and want to be a missionary doctor. And we are currently then looking into clinics and hospitals or organizations that we could work through overseas. So that has been kind of our first step, because really we would need to have something like that in place before moving. Down the road, we've had a lot of, envisions about designing or in developing a mobile medical unit, but that is probably more steps down the road. So to start out, we have been contacting different people and clinics in 3 different countries right now. So 2 of the countries are places where we have some known contacts, so that was a good place to start. And then we've been reaching out to a few clinics and then churches in Cambodia.
Interesting. Okay, so what are you hearing back so far?
That is interesting. So in one of the countries, we're hardly hearing anything back. And I think a lot of that has to do with the culture there. They're a lot more relaxed and sure, yeah, whatever. We have heard back from some people yeah, move here and I'm sure it'll all work out. And in one respect, we are open to such things, but in another respect, we're well, we might want to have at least, 1 or 2 things nailed down before just totally moving. And then in another country, we have gotten such good responses. We've heard from almost everyone that we have written to, but it actually, I think that their responses have shown us that that's probably not going to be a good fit. Their main thing is that they have noted that there's truly some safety concerns for foreign families living in the country. And secondly, that it can be quite hard to get a medical license as a foreigner in that country.
Okay, so then what about Cambodia?
Cambodia. So some of you might know that Cambodia is where I first got my calling to be a doctor, and that was so many years ago at this point now. And over the last year, Nick and I have definitely been feeling a lot more interested in Cambodia. There could be so many good opportunities there for evangelism as well as medical work that it's really piqued our interest. However, we have just not heard anything from anyone we've contacted there yet. One of the problems with that is that we don't know any of the people that we are contacting there in Cambodia. So they're just getting random emails from people, and we're trying different methods: WhatsApp, email, Facebook Messenger, and hoping that one of these avenues will open up a response.
One of the things, one of the reasons we're even doing this series of Our Missionary Life is that to help other people know what it takes to become a missionary, and that it's totally feasible, but there are steps you go through. So what about just why do you even need a contact in country? Like for instance, Cambodia.
Right. I'm glad you asked.
Thanks.
Well, one of the many things that has been changed by coronavirus is right now, Cambodia is not open to tourist visas or student visas. So in order to move to Cambodia, we would need to go on a business visa. So we would need to have some type of at least, sponsorship by a business or clinic in place in order to move there.
So one of the things how do you move into another country where there's a language barrier? How do you practice medicine or do?
I thought it'd be funny. Do it.
It is okay. Okay, we'll do that again. Okay. I just feel like we have so much on-screen chemistry. I think we would get along well. if we hung out.
But we are very interested, well, me probably more than anyone else in the family. I would love to learn another language, and I was always a person that liked school, so I would love to spend a good 2 semesters doing language study and taking a break from the normal, like, daily grind. That would be wonderful.
Just want to point out that she's the type of person who says it'd be nice to take a break from daily life to be in school for 2 semesters. Sweet goodness help us.
In Cambodia, for example, we have found a 2-semester language program, and that's one of the interesting things about the visa situation, that we couldn't get over there on a student visa right now, but if we could get sponsored somehow in another way to get there and then do the language program first, that would be incredible.
One question we've gotten is, have you thought about joining an existing organization at all?
Ooh, I'm glad you asked. Sometimes I want to join an organization very badly, because all of these, sorting through these steps of how to get there and where exactly to go and who exactly to work with, can be really tough, and sometimes you just don't know where to start. Any thoughts on that, Nick?
I do. My thoughts are just that we've looked into organizations, and some of them are great, some of them we don't really jive with, and that's all fine. But we have started our own organization. A lot of the reasons you would go through another organization is because you don't have one of your own. And so having lived overseas and having been missionaries, that's not something we need as badly. And so it seems better for us to just go with the nonprofit Freely Given that we have started and just use that as our organization. And we're totally open to, and we have talked to people about pairing with current organizations that are in country, wherever God calls us. We don't mind working with, but we know sort of our mission, and we know that God has called us to even start Freely Given. We're very firm in that, so that's kind of where we're at with that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And then another thing with the language barrier that is quite interesting is there are still many places where local dialects are very prevalent. And so in 2 of the countries we have been looking into, there are so many local dialects that we've inquired, well, which one would be most helpful for us to know. There are certainly national languages in both of those countries, but we're still not sure if that would be the most helpful one for us to know.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so we'll switch gears for a moment. How is the old fundraising going? It
is going 2 ways. In one respect, it's absolutely incredible what the Lord has brought in for us so far.
Watch our video about our fundraising miracle #1.
What has been accomplished in the last month and a half is really incredible. And we are truly honored that people have, shown their support and shown that they believe in what we're doing by giving. So we really have been able to raise so much. And then there is the other hand where the need seems so huge that it feels like, oh my gosh, we are still so far from it.
So one of the things people have asked is there any chance that you could go overseas without the entire $500,000 in hand?
Oh, another excellent question,
Thanks.
Nicholas.
You write them well, baby.
Okay. Yes, definitely. One thought we have had is that, if we had a certain amount that would help get us overseas and sustain us and the family throughout about a year, that would give us an opportunity to get established in country and start an in-country income, and then we could continue to work on the old medical school debt as we are there in country, so that we wouldn't have to wait here stateside for the entire amount to be taken care of.
Last question. So do you like waiting?
I hate it. It is the worst. Oh, my word.
So with having to wait then, what is helping you with having to wait until God gives the green light?
Well, I'm definitely praying about it a lot and praying to have peace and calmness and know that the waiting is okay and the Lord has everything under control. And a second tool that has really been amazing is that the Lord brought a book into our lives by several friends recommending it to us that has really just shown us that we are daily always living in God's will, and that being in God's will is not like some future thing for us, but that we are here now. The book is gaining a lot of popularity, and so I've heard his last name pronounced 2 ways. It's the book by Father Walter Chisak, and then I've heard Chisak. So one of those 2. And
what's the name of the book?
He leadeth me. And it has been incredible. So Nick and I read this book together, and pretty much as soon as we finished it, like a couple weeks later, I'm like, I really missed that book. And I was like, can we just reread that? So as soon as we finished reading it, we just started rereading it again. Not bored at all at rereading it. And I can't really remember a time I've done with that with a book in the past. So it's really what we needed at this time.
Yeah, it's really helped us out a lot. We'll put a link to it at the end. You should buy it and read it and get the audiobook and make it part of your life. Definitely. So I guess last question for you would be then, how can people listening at home, how can they help?
Yes. We would be so grateful for your prayers if you think of us while you're praying for those doors to open up. And honestly, if you know someone in a clinic somewhere overseas that really needs help, honestly, let me know. Totally open to looking into it.
All right. Well, I appreciate you being on the show today.
Right. I was really busy, but I tried to make time.
Yeah. Put the kids away for a little while and just got you on screen. So that's good. Thank you for being here.